2:10 remaining in overtime. Ager for three, short. Morrison runs it down in the corner. We wondered about the effect of fatigue. Warm again in the building. Third game in 4 days for Michigan State. Third in 5 days for Gonzaga. No signs of fatigue here in overtime. The play continues to be at an extraordinarily high level.
I think the game's given them a lot of juice, Sean.
And adrenaline. They wave off the goal for Rivio, but he'll go to the line to shoot two more. You mentioned moments ago 90% from the line last year. Neitzel fouled him. Two on Drew.
Now this is starting the year early for coaches too. I mean, the decision making and calls and defensive maneuvers and the roles, substituting, getting screeners in.
Both coaches came here to Maui. We spoke with Mark Few and Tom Izzo over the weekend with questions and concerns about their team, wondering if they were as good as they thought and expected to be. I think they're starting to have some of their fears relieved with these performances here in the EA Sports Maui Invitational. Rivio has 24. Derek Rivio, the junior from Vancouver, Washington, has given Gonzaga a 2-point lead. A minute and a half to go in overtime. Davis, out of control, charge. And the Michigan State coaches are saying, wait a minute, what about that arc? They're using the arc in these in-season early tournaments underneath the basket. If you're in there, it's not supposed to be a charge.
He was standing right under the basket. I mean, that was my first question, is whether that applies, whether when you're coming from the baseline.
You know, the refs aren't used to that either.
Yep.
Think about that.
He was right in the middle of the arc. Tom Izzo, Jim Boylan had a legitimate beef. It was Boylan who noticed it, and of course he's a 13-year NBA assistant who has just returned to Michigan State this year. He's used to that arc. Batista, Pendergraft missed a putback, then Batista stripped, and Ager controls. Under a minute to go. Michigan State with a chance to tie or take the lead again.
Tom Izzo calling a set for his team to run against this 2-3 zone.
Ager into the lane. Tough runner, and he made it.
Well, the end of the year, he'll be Big Ten on the Big Ten team. That's when it counts. What a penetration and delivery.
And Mark Few used his one timeout granted in overtime. Leading them back at the second half, and he's carried it right into the overtime. 28 points, 22 in the second half.
Yeah, what more can you ask about him? He has been extraordinary.
I mean, some guys don't have that kind of performance in a career, let alone in one game.
You know, you brought up the point in the commercial. You can draw a charge under the rim. If I'm in the post position and I start backing you in and knock you over, it doesn't count that way. That can be, you know, considered the right call. But that play was a little bit different.
Ager returned at 13-11 remaining in the second half with 4 fouls, and has played unencumbered by the foul trouble. He's been brilliant. Here's Gonzaga with a 3-second difference on the shot clock. They can run it almost all the way down to the end if they so choose. Very few possessions for the Zags in particular in this game where the shot clock has been an issue. Hasn't really been much of a factor for Michigan State either on offense.
You got the 2 point guards in there, Sean, plus the point forward Morrison.
Morrison with Ager, who slaps the floor to guard Morrison with the 4 fouls. Morrison, a tough pull-up. Pendergraft at the buzzer, no. And
game's still going on.
Back up. They stopped
Everybody
the game
quit,
clock, I believe, for a second.
The shot clock went off.
That's amazing.
Everybody stopped when the shot clock buzzer went off. And boy, that could have been an unbelievable result.
That was the buzzer for the shot clock. not the game clock, and the officials are going to have to sort it out. We showed you there was approximately a 3-second difference. So let's look and listen.
It hit the rim. It hit the rim. That was a reset, and everybody stopped.
Well, if Batista's shot went in, that would have been ball game over when everybody stopped because of the shot clock horn, thinking it was the game horn that would have ended the overtime period. My goodness, that would have been game over on a tremendously bizarre play had Batista just dropped that in the bucket. And you wonder if he half-heartedly flipped it up there thinking it's after the buzzer, this isn't going to count anyway.
I think you're exactly right. Another shot of it, Sean.
Reset.
Yep.
There's 3 seconds after that.
That's amazing. If he shot the ball, the game would have been over. That's utterly incredible.
That's why they tell you to play through the buzzer. You don't worry about buzzers.
You let the refs tell you to stop play.
Mike Kitts, the lead official, just walked over and said, do you guys understand what just happened? Everybody heard that buzzer thinking the game was over. He said if that shot went in, that would have counted and the game would have been over.
But the problem is there shouldn't have been any buzzer. That should have been reset by the clock official.
Well, I think it was so close to the actual expiration of the shot clock. Sure, he meant to reset it, but that shot struck the rim at just about zero. It left the hand at 1, but he has to make sure it hits the rim.
That's true.
I don't think you can fault the shot clock operator there.
It automatically goes off, too, if he hits the 0. Let's play 2, Ernie.
Well, selfishly, I'm glad to see them keep going. And it certainly would have been really a unsatisfying ending to the game if it had ended on a shot after just about everybody in the court had stopped, thinking the buzzer sounded to end the overtime. But in fact, it was the shot clock buzzer with a couple of seconds still to play in overtime. Overtime number 2, and Davis won the tip to Sutan. They open the segment with Neitzel, Ager, and Brown. 2-3 zone for Gonzaga.
Little box set, the screen in the corner.
Ager's 3 missed, but it's tipped in by Goran Sutan.
And that's where the zone can hurt you, rebounding responsibilities.
And I'm watching Brown, too. He's wincing on the other end, on the offensive end. All his leg issues, cramps.
But he doesn't quit.
No.
Pendergraph to Pargo with Rivio, Batista, and Morrison for Gonzaga.
And a little flex now.
Morrison, the runner.
He just makes things happen with his understanding of offense.
He's always moving, and that is so hard to guard. But he's not alone. His teammates are moving and screening as well.
Morrison is 35. 1 minute gone by in the second overtime. Ager into the lane for the dipsy-do.
He's had 2 penetrations that have been extraordinary instead of settling for the jumper.
Ager has 30. Pendergraph is not really a scorer. Morrison is. They all go after it up on the rim. Davis dives to the floor to save it for Michigan State.
What a great effort. Neitzel with a walk.
Head by 2 scores here might win the game. The way this is going, they're each scoring on just about every possession.
Just an amazing effort here, Jay. I mean,
got his jersey grabbed and getting pushed and still makes the play. That's big time. 4 games in 5 days, and now a couple overtimes, maybe more for Michigan State, but they are fighting to the last minute.
Pendergraph a little bit long with the shot, saved by Batista. Pendergraph has not scored in the game. Pargo, how about that move to the rim?
Part to seize. What confidence he possesses.
This game's going to be won by the team that makes a stop.
Guys are really going to the dribble drive now.
Neitzel for three. Long rebound to Davis. 13 rebounds for Paul Davis. New shot clock, and Izzo shouts the instructions for Neitzel, and they'll use a timeout. Last double overtime game here at the EA Sports Maui Invitational was in 1992. The 7th place game, Chaminade beat Stanford.